got a microphone now. Video too.
Let's do it.
Oh gosh.
Let's do it.
I don't know what's better. Hold it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Video too.
Go.
So you decided to open a med spa. Congratulations. But now you're just sitting there staring at a blank piece of paper, wondering, okay, what do I do next? Don't worry, guys. I was there about a year ago, and I'm here to try and help make that a little bit easier. I'm telling you, owning a business, nothing about owning a business is going to be easy. But all I can do is try and help you, let you know what I did next, and hopefully that helps fill that blank page a little bit and gets you to the next step. So, welcome back to the channel. My name is Derek Ziegler. This is Behind the Med Spa, where I kind of pull back the layers and help shine light on what it takes to build a med spa, what steps you need to go through, what I've learned, right? Again, I'll go back to the first video. I'm not an expert on this. I'm not some guru that's been doing this for 15 years. I started this journey a little over a year ago. We're getting ready to open our first location here in April, and all I want to do is simply share with you what I did, the steps I went through, and hopefully that at least gives you some reference or some loose kind of plan to follow, right? Because like I said, right now you're literally staring at a blank page probably, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do next? There's a million things. Do I buy machines? Do I start looking at machines? What do I do? Main point that I want to talk about today, that first step, once you decide you want to start that med spa, is developing your brand and what you want out of this med spa. What I want to start a med spa, but what do I want it to look like? What do I want it to feel like? Who are my customers? That groundwork is what's going to help you through the whole rest of the process. You can't go to the rest of the process if you have no idea what it is you're trying to create. And that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so let's start with why conceptualizing your med spa is so important. So like I mentioned, it's going to lay the groundwork for everything that you do later, right? Deciding on pricing, deciding on machines, deciding on interior design, who you want to hire. All of that stuff is going to depend on what you are trying to create. So an analogy that I like is when it comes to branding is think of your business as a book and your branding is the cover. So the brand that you create is the first thing that people are going to see. It's what people are going to remember. It looks like, how it makes them feel. That's why we want to make sure that we are creating a brand that is going to deliver the message that we want to our clients, to our consumers. And really, for me, when I think back, kind of that first step of like conceptualizing the brand, I knew that I wanted to have a med spa here in my local area. Started to think about like, okay, what does the consumer look like here? What will my clients look like? And we are a little bit of a more affluent area here in Arizona. And so I knew that my brand needed to feel luxurious and it needed to feel appropriate for the area, right? So we are an Arizona town, a smaller town. So I'm not gonna go with big and bold and in your face and, you know, like that's not really... That's a New York thing, right? New York, you think of like flashy and bold and bright colors and all this stuff, right? But for me, it really started with who are my consumers, who are my clients, and how do I create a brand that's going to speak to them? And that's where I started. So for you guys out there, I would challenge you to think about where you want this med spa, right? Not I want it in this specific building or on this corner, right? But I want it in this town or in this city. What are the people like in that city, right? How am I going to connect with them? How am I going to create something that resonates with them. And that's where your branding is going to start, right? You need to know who you want to speak to first. And once you have that, then you can continue with creating that brand. So when it comes to determining your clientele or your target audience, as you'll often hear, right? Who do I want to come into the doors? Who do I want my clients, my customers to be, right? It's has to be specific. We have to really narrow it down because we have to know exactly who we are designing this brand for. And it's not as simple of saying like, oh, it's a med spa. Ah, well, my target audience is women. Duh, right? Okay, women. Let's start there. What age? What income do they make? What do they like to do? Do they like to do outdoor activities? Are they into fitness? Right? What do they do? And a great way to do this, to kind of narrow in that target audience, is to create what's called client avatars. And this is basically like an avatar, right, from a video game or whatnot. If you're into that, shout out to the nerds. But a client avatar is creating a fake person. So this is Shelly. She's 35 years old. She makes $75,000 a year. She drives a Toyota Land Cruiser. She loves to shop at Target. She's married. She has 2 kids. She goes to the gym 3 days a week. She loves clothes from, whatever company it is. That's where we want to go, right? You want to create these avatars. So you have Shelly. And then let's talk about, Madison. She's 44 years old. Her kids are in high school. She likes to go on vacations to beach places. Right? Like, and that's kind of general, but you want to get real specific, like create a full fake person. And then when you're creating your brand, think like, okay, does this speak to Madison? Does this speak to Shelly? Whoever it is, right? But now you kind of have a specific person. And if that's very difficult for you, go on Facebook or Instagram and find somebody on there and turn them into your avatar, right? This is a person that I would love to have at my med spa. Right? And create a little profile about them. And then when you're thinking about this stuff, like, oh, does this speak to that person? Would this person like that, right? Because that's who you're trying to attract. So now you have these people as you're going through and you're thinking about the look, the feel, the music, the smell, how we're going to greet people, all that stuff, right? The colors in your logo, what your logo looks like, how your brand voice is, all this stuff that we're going to talk about. Now you have somebody specifically that you're talking to. And that's very, very helpful throughout this process. Now that you know kind of who you want to speak to, right? Now you need to start dialing in the look, the feel, the experience. And one way to do this is to kind of visualize, right? Think about if you were walking into your dream med spa, what does it smell like? What music is playing? What sounds? What are the colors? How does it make you feel, right? Does it make you feel cozy? Does it make you feel big, small? Does it make you feel fancy, right? Like, are we pinkies up? Like, how do you want it to feel? And that's what you want to do, is just visualize that. If I'm walking into my med spa, what's that first impression that I want? For my med spa, I knew that I wanted it to be luxurious, but more of an understated luxury, right? I don't want it to be in your face, like gaudy and shiny and, white marble floors. And like, I wanted it to feel elevated, to feel luxurious, but also approachable, right? Because I wanted people to come in and feel like, yeah, this is a really nice space, but also that it's comfortable, right? They feel comfortable because they're going to be talking to my nurses and my estheticians, and I want it to be comfortable. I don't want them to feel like, ooh, this is like, I don't belong here. I feel like out of my element because it's so fancy or so elevated, right? So that's where I started. And, and then fitting into your surroundings, right? So here in Arizona, desert colors, kind of soft colors, but also some good textures, right? Because we've got a lot of rock and we've got cactus, right? And those maybe not are cozy feeling or approachable, right? No, we have lots of cactus. I'm like, well, that's really approachable. I want to hug it. But you can draw kind of textures and colors and feel from the desert sand and the red rocks of, like, say, Sedona and things like that. So that's kind of where I started on imagining how I wanted to feel, and then kind of going on Pinterest, right? Pinterest is a great tool for this. And searching med spas and creating a vision board of, oh, I really like that feel. I like that feel. I like, right? And they maybe aren't all cohesive, but you might like one thing. You might like the floor in that picture. You might like a wall color. You might like a stone or a light fixture, right? And if you do that and you create this vision board, it's going to help you down the road when we get to our interior designers and being able to say, look, like, this is the look and feel. I love this. I love that. I don't really like that part of the picture, but I love this one, right? So that's where you want to start, is how do I want to feel when I walk in? How do I want my clients to feel? And then start putting together that vision board of things that you like. We've covered all the fun stuff, right? We're on that path. We've got our vision narrowed in a little bit. I would love to know what your vision is. Adjectives, some descriptor words down in the comments of, like, when you're envisioning your dream med spa, like, what are some words that come to mind? And by sharing them in the comments, maybe somebody else watching this video that's struggling to kind of, they have this vision or this thought, and they're like, what's the word for that? What am I trying to convey, right? So share them down in the comments. Also, guys, if you are liking this, I know this is only the second video. Hopefully you got some stuff out of this video. I would love for you guys to hit the, I don't know, I haven't figured this out yet. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow me, whatever it is. But I would love for you guys to make sure that you're following along, stay up to date. Next week, what I plan to cover is we're going to dive into talking about, to go with our branding, differentiating yourself, because that is one of the most important parts of branding, is how you're going to differentiate yourself from the competition in your area or from other med spas that might pop up. So we're going to cover that, and then we're going to dive into other things you need to do: logo, business name, forming a business, right? That kind of stuff. Now we've got this idea. We've kind of created our avatar. We've talked through kind of creating the basic brand and what we need. So next week, we're going to cover those topics. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Thanks so much.